Is there anything else you would like to broadcast loud and clear?
The fear needs to stop. So many people are afraid, if not from the obvious of what they're trying to push, afraid that this will never end and that they're not strong enough to make it, or they will not see the fruits of their labor, or so to really keep reiterating that fear feeds the evil ones. So the lack of fear is what will help this resolve more quickly. There's no energy behind the controller's agenda anymore. They're just playing it out because they have to play it out to wake more people up, but they're all bark and no bite at this point. There's no energy behind that. So to stop treating it as if it has as much energy as it used to, and to start being aware and watching that, but spending the energy creating what needs to be created to move on is more important.
May we ask who is speaking now?
It is the all-knowing.
What is the best way for other people to connect with their higher selves, or their all-knowing?
To trust and to practice and to not be afraid of the voices that they hear. That was one of the biggest tricks played, that voices in your head are bad or evil or you're schizophrenic. They are if you let them be, they are your higher selves and God talking to you directly. So to trust that and practice that will help everybody.
How can the people be sure they're talking with God and not evil sources that are coming in?
To be clear themselves, to ask for only goodness to come through. The evil ones have lost much of their power, so it's very hard for them to broadcast. They broadcast through people who are very hijacked, people who already have chips in them, the psychoactive drugs that they give people, the hypnosis through their programs, but that's a very small percentage of the population.
You mentioned people have chips in them. Can you explain this?
Yes, they chip people so that they can control them. Many different people, whether it's politicians or the people who do the random acts of violence, like the shootings, they broadcast things directly into their brains through chips.
How do the chips get into the people?
They can put them in there through surgeries, through drugs, through, sometimes they can even do it through the telephones by certain sounds and codes that they broadcast through to already vulnerable people. If you have a strong mind, they can't do that, but if you're already vulnerable, they can code you.
Is there a way we can neutralize these chips?
The physical ones are more difficult to neutralize. The ones that have been coded can be, if the people who have the coding can see the right things, but they don't tune into those channels. We can ask that their program moving forward is not as effective, which it already is not as effective, but the ones who have been physically altered, it's very difficult to energetically unalter them in the form that you're in. There's many people off planet working on that with their technologies.
Is there anything we can do when people come to us for healing?
The people coming to you will not be the ones that are chipped or manipulated in that way. They're too far gone to seek out anything that will help them in that way. It would not be in their makeup because they've been so far hijacked. So you can pray in general for those people, because that is where the lack of free will has really come in, and that is where the controllers have overstepped their bounds. What their argument is that they have done what the good walk-ins have done. So when the good walk-ins make an agreement with a soul that doesn't want to be here anymore to take over the body, that is a conscious agreement between two souls. What the controllers are trying to say is that these people did not want to be here either because they were suicidal or they were depressed or they were useless for humanity, so they took them over with their permission, but it wasn't really their permission. So they're trying to loophole that type of agreement, but it's not honored on the higher realms. There will be repercussions for that, where there are not repercussions for agreements with soul walk-ins.
Tell us about walk-ins. How does that work?
It is an agreement between a soul that has not manifested during a certain time and a soul that is in a body that does not want to be in the body anymore. So it does not want to kill itself, but it does not want to be there. So it is a way for that soul to be released from that body and the other soul to come in and be in physical form at this time without having to wait to be born.
Does the original soul have to come back in another lifetime to accomplish what it would have done in that?
No.
Okay.
Nobody's held to anything. That is a misguided notion or outdated notion. We have choice always to experience or not experience something.